Hi, I'm Cynthia Fox, and it's a total honor to be here at the Morrison Hotel Gallery, which is part of the Sunset Marquis Hotel. And that's, of course, not too far from Sunset. And we're here talking with Julie Gardner, who's an amazing photographer who's been working in the music industry for a long time. She's highly gifted. And she's got, I think about 8 wonderful full-color photos of Neil in concert that's part of this brand new exhibit that's about to open November 10th right here at the Morrison Hotel Gallery at the Sunset Marquis. And I love the fact that it's opening here because it's not that far from Sunset Boulevard, where back in 1966, right, Stephen Stills spotted Neil Young driving his, traditional hearse at that time. They finally found each other in Los Angeles, and thus began Buffalo Springfield. And of course, Neil has stayed here because he left from here to go to the Roxy to play Tonight's the Night live in 1973. So there's a lot of great history here. But Julie, we're sitting in front of one of Julie's amazing, evocative portraits of Neil Young. You've been working with him and photographing him in concert for many years now. How did that come to be? How did you come to...
Actually, that's it's funny that you mentioned Stephen Stills, because that's how it all started. So 2008, I met the legendary Elliot Roberts, Neil Young's manager, who's also Stephen Stills' manager. Mm-hmm. And Elliot hired me. I had a production company in London. Elliot hired me to do Stephen Stills' live DVD at Shepherd's Bush. So I produced that DVD for him. And then he was so impressed that Neil and Elliot, Neil and Crazy Horse, were coming over to London in 2009. So I was completing the DVD and I was invited to the show at Hyde Park. And I sat on the side of the stage and watched the show. So that was where everything started.
That's fantastic. Now, here's an interesting thing. Neil Young, legendary icon. He's always followed his muse. And for all of his career, his muse involves social issues. And he's very passionate about not only music, as he has a great quote in his book that music needs to speak directly to the soul. And he's also a very passionate environmentalist. So is this all intimidating when you're about to embark on a project with him? Is that scary at all to you? You feel like, okay, I understand where he's coming from. I get, where his muse is coming from, and I can just work with that? Or how does that work for you?
Actually, I believe in a lot of what Neil talks about and what he pushes and is interested in. So my elder sister is a natural therapist. Mm-hmm. So I've always been environmentally, aware. I don't eat food that has GMO in it. And this photo actually is from tour. This was from 2015 in Colorado, but this was the first tour with Promise of the Real, Willie Nelson's 2 sons, Micah and Lucas. And this was all about no GMO. They just finished Monsanto album, and so they were touring on that album. And so this whole tour was about that, and I actually created a scarf called No GMO, which had organic fruit all over it. So I'm totally in with what Neil's doing environmentally. I really like the idea about supporting Native Americans, but Native people from different, I think it's really important. So no, it didn't intimidate me. I actually believe in it.
Oh, fantastic. Now tell us about this moment that you captured. And did you know this was coming, or you just said, oh my God, this is it. This will capture the essence of Neil in kind of a very intense moment?
So this was at Colorado Red Rocks, and we had 2 dates there. And it was the first date that I'd gone on this particular tour, and it was the first time that Neil had toured with Promise of the Real. I think they played 1 date beforehand. So this was a brand new show. And how you're seeing Neil now, at the beginning of this whole tour, Neil would come on by himself and he would sit at the piano. So this was his first song on the first tour, new tour with Promise of the Real that I'd seen. Neil decided that he wanted to do something different with the lights. So he had Mark Brickman, who is the designer from the Pink Floyd The Wall, come in. Mark had worked with Neil before. So he wanted something completely different. He wanted something more intimate, and Mark immediately just took out the normal touring lights and put in spots. So what you see is the light from one spot. Now, I was on the side of the stage, and I was behind Neil. I was next to where the guitar and the bass set, tech people are. And I was kneeling down, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know this was coming because I hadn't seen this particular show before. So I would just happen to be in the exact right spot to see that cone come over him. Yeah. And it was so dramatic, and I just,
And I often wonder how much serendipity plays a part, or just the fact that you must have such a great intuitive, artistic sense to be able to capture a moment like that is very, very special, and really captures his essence too. To be able to have a photograph that really, tells everybody, yes, this is exactly, captures his spirit, his intensity, how much he cares about music and the planet. It's fantastic. So I wanted to mention that, again, this opens November 10th. This show, you have 8 full-color photos of Neil in performance in the show. And if, for instance, people miss the opportunity to come here, because it'll be November 10th through the 18th, they can go online if they want to order these prints and have them for themselves, right? Okay, that's fantastic. Now, let's move on to the scarves that I'm wearing and the scarf that's over here, because Julie is a multi-talented artist. Not only did she start out as a sound engineer and has been working in the music industry for a long time, she's taken now, look at the scarf that I'm wearing. This is a beautiful skull. And you want to talk about, this is, all of these scarves are based on the photos you did for Neil Young.
Everything I do is from photographs, even the one that I'm wearing. This is photographs as well. So the one that Cynthia has on is a photograph, or it's 2 photographs. It's a photograph of a skull that was on Neil's ranch, just in Northern California. And the sky is from Hawaii. And I make these in Italy, and they're all hand stitched. So I decided to do really high end, because I don't like synthetic. I'm not doing, everything I do is natural fiber. And then the one over here actually has a great story. So yes. I was on tour and we went to Australia. So I'm from Australia. I'm from Western Australia, but and that was our first stop in Perth. But this is from Geelong, Victoria. And I'm on the stage. You can see me on the stage. You can see the back of Neil's head, and you can see his microphone.
Wow.
And I looked out, and there was only one tree in the paddock, and it had been lit up by the show lights. So anyway, I've made that on cashmere.
That's beautiful. So you have, like I said, you have this artistic ability to see something and say, that's it. We must capture that. That is the perfect moment, the perfect visual. And if people want to find out more about how you've made wearable art, they can go to obscuradesigns.net.
Yes, everything's online.
It's beautiful. And let's talk about what's forthcoming, too, to further tempt you Neil Young fans. This is another fantastic idea. You want to tell us about that?
So I'm calling it Covers, the Art of Music. So what I wanted to do, we used to buy vinyl records or CDs, and they had this amazing artwork from the artist. And now that you're doing digital downloads, it's not really there anymore. So I created a box, a custom-made box, which it's exactly the same as the vinyl. This is Neil Young's On the Beach. Inside is exactly the same. And then I created scarves. So there's a choice of 2 scarves. One is a silk scarf that goes in the box, and the silk scarf is on the beach. It's the front cover.
It's beautiful.
So that's the silk scarf. And then I have a wool, 100% wool scarf. So this is for guys as well as girls. The silk scarf's for women, but for guys can wear this as well. So that's all the artwork for the whole.
It's beautiful. And I'm glad that you're doing something like this, because for so many music fans over the years, the experience of the music was not only the music and the vinyl, but it was the whole design aspect, the visual, the sense that when you saw an album cover, you knew what kind of sensibility would be inside. Yeah. And that's what you gravitated toward. And so I think that this is a beautiful, beautiful idea. And once again, these are photos of Neil on the road that you've translated into wearable art. Yes. So it's amazing.
And there's more music artists products that I'm making at the moment. So I made silk scarves for David Gilmour on his tour that he's just finished.
Awesome. So keep us in mind as things develop. And then let's jump back to the show. Again, the show that opens here will feature 4 photographers of Neil Young, November 10th through the 18th. Do you want to just very quickly mention some of the other photos that you'll have in the exhibit besides this, which is...
Right, so I have photographs coming from... I was on tour with Neil for 6.5 years. So I have photographs from different places in the world from 2010, I think the first photograph is, and that's a huge canvas. I've put it onto canvas from 2010. So all of Neil live, so mine are, yeah.
And is he the kind of artist that I have to see the proof sheets. You cannot let any image out until I see the proof sheets. Anything like that? Or is he pretty relaxed about it? Or how would you say?
Neil doesn't like to see his photographs, but Elliot approves everything.
His manager?
Elliot's his manager. He's legendary. He's a legend in his own right.
Oh, of course. So, well, that's interesting then. He doesn't mind the photographs going out. It's just not...
There's not very many photographers. I mean, there's press for 3 songs normally, but I was very privileged. There was no one else like me doing what I was doing. So.
You're indeed amazing. And we're honored that you've taken the time to do this. And since you've seen Neil in so many different contexts around the world, have you seen audiences, do they respond differently or pretty much the same? You know, pretty much he hits that note that people connect with, because he talks about music, wanting to make music that speaks directly to the soul. And you see that connecting whatever country you're in?
I have never seen Neil's audience do anything but admire him and adore him. And when Neil comes on stage, he's magical. He's unbelievable, you know, and he's got a lot of energy and he really connects with his audience. With Crazy Horse, I toured a lot with Crazy Horse, Neil Young and Crazy Horse. And we went all around the world with them. Every country was, you know, everyone's wow.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what I love. What Neil
totally translates for everywhere he's been.
Well, that's what I love about Neil. What he talked about in his book, Waging Heavy Peace, was he loves working with Crazy Horse because it gets him into kind of a cosmic place where the muse speaks to him and the songs and the songwriting just flow. And I love to hear that an artist is looking to connect.
Well, I've seen Neil in different band formations, so it's been Crazy Horse. I've been with Neil when he's done his own solo shows, and now with Promise of the Real. Neil just, you know, it doesn't matter what the formation of the band is, he rocks it.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much, Julie Gardner. Your work is amazing. How you've translated it into wearable art is also amazing. And everybody should come by the Morrison Hotel Gallery. It's right part of the Sunset Marquis. It's in Alta Loma. It's right near Sunset and La Cienega. little tucked away, but you can find it, and you can go online and check it out too. So thank you so much.
Thank you.